I wanted to pick up on a point that's raised by Claire SE16, and Claire says, I'm just choosing Claire because she's the one who just said it last. A number of people have said exactly the same idea. It makes me laugh. No, I'm always positive about that. It makes me laugh. The ones that are disgusted by Lee Anderson are the very people that bang on and on about the right to free speech. Of course, people only have the right to free speech as long as someone else is saying that what the militant free speech promoters agree with. Well, no, and this is really the point. Freedom to discuss things, freedom to hold opposite views, freedom to hold quite dismissive views about what other people are saying, freedom to rebuke people. All of this is perfectly reasonable, as long as you are not actively oppressing or actively hurting other people with the speech that you are using. And there's a here I think it's important to consider the role of satire and how important it is to poke fun at the powerful and those people who hog the airwaves. Poke fun. And certainly when people poke fun at me, yeah, I get the point, and I bow to that. I certainly don't stop it. But there are times when I think people go too far. Doxing, I think, is going too far, and death threats, I think, go too far, and the people in Parliament are suffering these. I think the Speaker of the House of Commons was genuinely stressed by that issue. I think he may also have been genuinely stressed by being pressured by various people around the chamber. But he should be used to that, and he should be able to stand up and say, if you don't like what I'm doing, get rid of me, and that's fine. A person with power in politics needs to recognize that tomorrow that power may be gone, and they need to be okay with that, because they need to be in a position where they can say, oh, okay, I lose my power tomorrow, but at least I stick to what I believe and what I think is right. Now, the problem with a lot of politicians at the moment is I don't think they are interested in what is right. I think they're interested in what keeps them in the news and what keeps them in power, and that is different. And a lot of politicians in our current batch in Parliament, and of course elsewhere, as they do seem to stray from Parliament and go to America and pontificate or patronize Americans as well. The problem there is they haven't done their homework. They've read half a page of slogans, and that is it. And that's where they stop. They don't seem to. I think Liz Truss has forgotten what it's like to write an essay, do some research, sit in the Bodleian for a couple of days and read 10 books. And I think rather than speed reading, she's got to the point where she doesn't read at all. She just listens to the last person who's spoken to her, and she parrots that. And I know in high office, people don't have a lot of time to sit down and read and digest information. But maybe when people lose high office, that's what they should be doing. And maybe more people should be losing high office. But I was disgusted with Lee Anderson long before his comments about Islamists. And it's the misappropriation of that term. And by the way, somebody has pointed out that Islam is a religion, and an Islamist is somebody who follows a fundamentalist view of Islam. That's not true either, as I pointed out in the video earlier. The idea that there is such a thing as fundamentalist Islam, well, all Islam is fundamentalist. All Islam is based on a book which is recited and which is interpreted according to the traditions of various hadiths, various schools of Islamic thought. And there are similar traditions in Christianity and in Judaism, of course. The various sacred texts are interpreted according to their various traditions. Islam has the advantage over Christianity in dealing with an original text in an original language, which has been committed to heart, which is learnt by heart and recited. And the difference in the text recited today and the text recited in the 7th century is minimal, I suspect. In fact, I know it's minimal. Whereas the difference in the Hebrew texts between now and even the 1st century are very difficult to determine because we don't have enough of those texts to accurately check. And similarly, the Christian texts, not only are the Christian texts wildly inaccurate, but many of them have gone through a series of translations, and the translations themselves are highly inaccurate. And fascinating and interesting. But fundamentalism is about basing your ideas on a fundamental text, and Islam does precisely that. So do check my video. And as for Lee Anderson, I'd be very interested to have a chat with Lee Anderson, but I think he is fundamentally wrong, and I think he's fundamentally, I'm using the word fundamentally as the bottom. I think his bottom is in the wrong place. And I don't think he does enough work to exercise that bottom. Indeed, I think rather than the bottom forming the bedrock, forming the empowering his thought, I think the bottom is the subject of most of his thought. And I don't think we need to be listening to Lee Anderson's fundament.